got these.
I'm recording.
Got the coffee M&Ms now.
Oh, I don't
These.
think we've seen those, which we see plenty of weird stuff. You know, we've got the Kit
Yeah.
Kat market cornered, but
I mean, I get some of it here. Like there are new Preetzes that are toasted sugar flavor. Have you had those yet?
I don't even know what a
toasted
preacher is.
They're like they're just cracker sticks from like Glico. Is it
Pretz.
Okay.
Pretz?
Pretz.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Right.
call it Preetza because I saw a bunch of commercials for it on like Dragon Ball Z tapes back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was like some sort of pretzel pizza.
That
You
sounds
would
fun.
think there were pizza
Pizza.
flavored Preetzes that they were very good.
Oh, yeah.
But,
There was the
yeah, the
time
toasted
they
sugar ones taste like they taste almost like a cookie, but not quite. So it's like this really great, just subtle sugariness.
I think they had cookie checks in the 90s.
I kind of hate Chex.
Yeah, but it was Chex. It was the same thing, but it was cookie instead of whatever that brand shit is.
Okay.
I mean, just
I think I'm
Oh, you mean
technically
like-
on my work Zoom right now, but
Oh, okay. Do you care?
doesn't matter. No.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as
I-
they're not monitoring us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mark, was your VPN off? I guess.
I mean, we put it all
Yes.
online, mate.
I checked and it is, but I'll check it again. And yes, it is off.
Okay. We kept getting cut from calls, and we were wondering if that's his VPN, even though it seems to be on my end. So who knows?
Yeah, it always looks like it's on your end, but who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Like
but
VPNs are weird. Sometimes you'll be rocking the VPN and just try to go to a regular site and it'll be like, you have been banned from this site. It'll be like Best Buy. It'll be like, you can't come here.
Yeah, it's because of what
you
you
are now
said
the
about Best
worst by.
Yeah, you are the worst sell. That's you.
Buy.
All right. Okay. I have Matt's notes up instead of mine.
I guess I could put some notes up because I definitely need them for this one because I barely remember watching the movie last night.
I
Which
watched
one of
them-
you is doing the synopsis?
That was you, but it won't take
No, I
long.
figured it was because it's like, yeah.
All right.
It's
Yeah.
been a
Wait,
while.
I literally need one character's name.
The
Oh,
I know, I
God.
remember it. I remember it.
All my notes have like Willem Dafoe and Jason Patrick and Sandra Bullock in them.
Yep, Sandra's going goth. Defoe. Yeah. I just wrote the actors' names. I mean, this is one of those films like who cares what their names
Nobody
are?
says anybody's name almost ever.
Are they the two main characters? They say their names over and over,
Mm.
especially
like
at the
Annie
end
and-
when Willem Dafoe's just bullying her for like
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, Annie, what's the matter? Do you not want to be chained to this boat? Do you not want to come with me on this plane?" Anyway, we'll get into it in the actual podcast.
Okay, so this is number. You do your number. So
I know my
98.
thing. I'm good.
Okay, double check Citizen Kane next week though, because that one's ahead, so it's a different number than you think it is.
Okay.
Hmm.
In at number 98, it's the sequel to Speed, bringing back everything you love. Sandra Bullock is here again. The villain has been replaced by Willem Dafoe, and Keanu Reeves has been replaced by some fucking dweeb.
This could have been Jason Patrick's big breakout role, you know, if he had things like charisma or something.
This movie, I would put it directly on the good list if we just removed Jason Patrick and Sandra Bullock, and you could just do that.
No,
You could do
no,
that.
we just removed Jason Patrick and make Sandra Bullock the hero.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
in
thinking
my
we
head-
make-
In my head was how I remembered this film. I
Okay.
was like, oh, Keanu Reeves not back, but Sandra Bullock does it on her own this time. That's really cool.
That
And I
would-
watch it, and I'm like, oh no, she's just owned by a different man who has to save her now. This really sucks.
And also, she keeps
C2,
like
cruise
complaining.
control.
She keeps complaining about Jason Patrick helping people. She's like,
Yeah.
"No, my last boyfriend helped people. You're not going to help people. Stop it. Stop helping people."
Okay.
It could have just been Tamira Morrison versus Willem Dafoe. It would have been totally fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like-
just got it. It's like a cruise, and then he's controlling the cruise.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
it's
never
not
worked out.
like
I
the
never worked
movie
out that pun.
where a vehicle drives at a set speed like cruise control. No, that's not this.
So the first one should have been called cruise control.
Yes,
Okay, speed cruise control.
this
and
could have
one
should have
be-
been called a ship death. Shiplap.
Speed cruise control
Ship.
on a ship. That would
I
be
Mash.
think
favorite.
Boat
this
time.
film is in that weird collection of action movies which were written as sequels to one franchise and got moved to another, right?
I don't think it's the same
Like,
director.
I think
I don't
no,
think
no.
that's what happened.
I think this was a Die Hard.
Hmm.
There's
That
like loads of
weren't
movies
all the
around the
diehards.
90s. None of the Die Hards were written to be a Die Hard except the
Yeah.
last one, which is why it's the worst one.
Yeah.
I think it's the same
And
director. Director is back. Jan de Bont.
same director. Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont.
Shout out to Dutch.
There's some redneck
that's
for me.
part why I
It's
love this.
Jan.
I love his eye. I love the direction here. It's amazing. I love like his like whatever you call it, viewpoint. It's like you keep spying on little people doing stupid stuff and then things explode.
Okay.
He's like a dumb Verhoeven.
I guess we should do a quick intro here before, since we're just jumping right on in. But yeah, who are you people?
I'm Mark.
I am Luke.
He's Luke. I'm Matt. Films and Filth. This is technically Filth, I guess. It's a shiny. If it's Filth, it's the shiny Filth. It's a gold-plated turd, right? I mean, like you said, it looks
I
nice.
enjoyed this shit out of this gold-plated turd.
We'll get into it. Mark, you and I were talking a few days ago where I thought like a bad review had deterred me from seeing this movie, because this is 97 is definitely, yeah. 97 is definitely like prime time for I will go see every movie on opening night, or every Friday night I'll be seeing a movie, and maybe Saturday too. Maybe it was the Entertainment Weekly review that got me not watching this, because it turned out our hometown newspaper liked it pretty well.
That was a little past the time when I would go to the movie theaters a lot. This was time when I would like stay home and do drugs and play video games. 97. But I know that I saw the first movie came out when I was seeing everything that came out. And at the time I thought it was fine, and I never saw it again, and I just wasn't really tempted by this when it came out.
I guess maybe the Keanu factor might have been part of it. I do know I watched
Dennis
the
Hopper
first,
too.
Yeah, I had the first one because 94 was the first one, right? And that's right when they started putting out like affordable VHS. Like you didn't just have to tape crap off of TV or copy videos. You could be like, oh, I just paid $10 and I get to like have this movie with the packaging, and that was amazing in 1994.
That makes sense. And also, this was PlayStation time, so you would get your like Soul Blade or your Battle Arena Toshinden and get like 40 hours out of it, whereas back in your Super Nintendo time you would get less than that out of your games. I don't know what else to say besides that.
Yeah, I think 97 is, oh yeah, I take a bunch of girls to movies, but none of them were actually dating me. But I probably just I wasn't paying attention to perspective, reality.
Look, you didn't need them, okay?
I didn't. It's just weird now, because I'm like, wow, that's where I sometimes have trouble working out my life and Saved by the Bell, like which memories are mine, because that happens on Saved by the Bell too, right?
Wow, really? I don't know. I never really watched that.
Yeah. So it's all kind of mixed up in my head now. So, and I can watch Saved by the Bell again. I can't like go back and relive my memories. So it's just like slowly taking over my past or something. Movie's not.
Matt didn't realize that he was like a pretty good looking guy who played guitar and girls probably liked him until like all of those days were behind him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't know anyone liked me until I was like 40. And somebody basically had to just say it over and over and over and over again.
I had the opposite problem. I just assume everyone likes me.
It's good. You keep going with that.
It's like
I constantly just assume people are flirting with me.
I read I read something that someone put on the internet that I knew. It's a funny way to say of something someone posted. She was just like, this is how you know you're old, when you look at a picture of yourself and you're like, wait, I was hot?
Oh well. So yeah, I guess if you could give us like a quick story there, and just as an edit point, are you coming through on your normal microphone?
Am I not?
It sounds really tinny.
No, because I'm coming through my laptop mic.
That would explain it.
How about now?
Oh, now you sound rich and buttery. Okay.
Ooh, sensual. Oh, now they're really going to be able to hear me eating my cereal.
Yeah.
After the events of Speed 1, Annie has broken up with boyfriend Jack because relationships based on extreme circumstances don't work out. But now she's dating Alex and is distressed to learn that he's also a speed demon daredevil. They go on a cruise to leave their troubles behind, but it's taken over by Geiger, the disgruntled employee who created the automation systems. He steals some diamonds, but after a series of misadventures, everyone is saved and he explodes in an airplane. That's how you summarize.
You're right. I'm humbled, O master. This is how I'll learn.
That was
I'll
off the
learn.
dome piece, too.
I can't dome them.
Yeah,
right
from
before
your wife.
I agree.
right before we started recording, I went to check. I was like, oh, wait, maybe this is supposed to be the same character and I'm just dense, but no, it is a different character. So not only does the star not come back, don't you recast at that point? I mean,
No, she literally talks about like dumping him and being with someone else.
Yeah.
She told that to Dorf. She was telling Dorf that.
Right. No, I get that. I was just like, this was like 2 minutes before I went on a Zoom. I was like, wait a minute, because I forgot
Wait a
little
minute.
details.
Am I the only one who pays attention when we watch films on this list?
No, I just had that thing right before he went on, forgetting specific scenes and just being like, am I that dense? And no, this movie's that dense. Okay.
I didn't
Dense with
notice that
scenes.
his name was Geiger.
They might not
That's
say
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I think no, they do say his name a few times. I think one advantage I have for remembering names, I've been watching everything with subtitles on recently.
That's good.
Because my girlfriend is operating in a second language, she likes to have the subtitles on, and I just haven't bothered turning them off when she's not here.
Yeah, I do that with the family, but this one in particular, for whatever reason, I could not. It didn't. You had subtitles. I didn't have subtitles.
I just watched it on Disney Plus.
Oh,
I didn't watch the
What?
I didn't watch the legitimate copy that you gave me.
I had a Disney Plus. I could watch this on Disney Plus the whole time. Damn it.
See, yeah,
man.
Do you just assume if Matt gives it to you, you have to watch Matt's one?
I go to justwatch.com and see what it says I can do, and then it usually says that I have to rent it wherever it is, and then I figure out.
I run a quick search on like Disney, Amazon, and Netflix, and if it's not there, I'll Google name of film, watch online. And if that doesn't work, then I have to let Matt get me a copy.
Maybe this movie deserves Disney minus.
It is not on Disney Plus in the US, so that's
how about that?
Yep. So thanks, Just Watch.
Streaming is such a massive headache, I guess. I don't know. It's weird,
it's because they've split the kingdom and now it's ridiculous.
Like if you want to watch the Minions movies, you have to go like 3 different streaming services to get, and some of them aren't even
therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that.
I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying.
I know. I also don't even dislike them that much, but if the gag comes to you, you got to make it.
I only saw the first What Despicable Me movie, and it was totally fine, and I have no idea how shitty the Minions movies are, but now apparently the Super Mario movie has obliterated the Minions, so they're probably all dead now. It's just going to be Mario movies all the way down. Forever.
Everyone's having deep thoughts about that. They do have the land. I think I've said before that my wife and I were pissed off at the Minions because Megamind didn't make it as a massive cultural success.
Yeah, it's had a bit of a resurgence as a big meme.
Yeah, I guess so. But we like that movie a lot. So it didn't ever got a sequel, any of that. It had its own Minion. It was great. This one has Jason Patrick, which he's got 2.
Speaking of Minions,
he's almost got 2 first names, I guess. He doesn't have the K on Patrick. Okay, he's in the Lost Boys, Rush, like not the race car Rush, I think. He's just in stuff. Yeah. Like
he's got a little bit of that Aaron Eckhart problem where he's handsome, but he's kind of too handsome. There's nothing like interesting to his look. So it's hard to care.
Yeah.
He's just got that bland leading man problem. Like maybe he's so attractive that nobody ever pushed him to develop emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first thing that comes to mind is the guy from Terminator Genesis who was supposed to replace Michael Biehn, but was just sort of like a big guy. It's like that's like the first thing that, because that movie tried so hard to cast somebody who sort of looked like Linda Hamilton, and then they just put this like meat meat guy, piece of meat guy in there.
But also, Michael Biehn like played a character, and that guy just didn't.
Yeah.
Is Genesis on the list, Matt?
I don't believe so.
I don't think any Terminators are.
Not everyone.
There's some Terminators on the good list.
Yeah, not
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah,
hates,
2 has to be, right?
Yeah, I think
on
1
the
and
list.
2 are.
Okay.
Not everyone hates Genesis to the degree that you do, I think.
Yeah, but that's because
I don't.
Is as smart as me.
I'm not as smart as Luke, and I like Genesis more than some things. I don't know. I like it more than 2001: A Space Travesty. I don't think I like it more than Speed 2. I think Speed 2 is better.
Okay.
I think Genesis is a bad film in its own right and an offensive sequel to the Terminator series. Whereas I think Speed is a mediocre movie, but a bad sequel to Speed.
Yeah. I mean, it's some movies should. Well, they did make the French Connection too, so I guess there was precedence for doing this sort of thing. Although they brought back the actors, didn't they?
But most of this movie was like, I don't give a shit who these people are or what's happening. I want to see this boat hit this oil tanker and smash the city. Like, it worked on me on a level that I think because they insisted on using no CGI whatsoever, that it worked on this level where I was just.
It had cool stunts and good shots, and like you said, he has a good eye for giving you lots of like random civilians' reactions to make things exciting.
Yeah, it's like Michael Bay. Like,
yeah.
People shit on Michael Bay, but like Michael Bay knows how to like get you excited and invested in whatever the hell is going on.
Maybe Jan de Bont is sort of like the what is it, the John the Baptist to Michael Bay's Jesus, you know? Like he kind of does it on his own little while, then he gets his head chopped off, and then Michael Bay becomes Jesus.
Sure. Exactly what's in my notes.
Did John de Bont get his head cut off?
No, that was the guy who directed that Twilight Zone episode where someone got their head cut off. Or
oh, okay.
Right. The guy walked into a propeller and like the plane disappeared, but the guy who actually directed it got his head cut off by a helicopter in real life.
Like 20 years later.
What is it with Twilight Zone and helicopters cutting people's heads off? Because you got the 80s movie too.
Yeah. That
helicopters,
maybe.
Of course,
I mean, it would be very Twilight Zone if the TV show is just cursed with some sort of helicopter decapitation curse, but still, Jesus.
Like maybe some like mystical woman just pointed at Rod Serling when he was off at war in like.
They've pissed off one specific Decepticon.
Maybe. Oh shit! It's always like the same Decepticon that just gets slightly reconfigures himself.
That's what I wanted in Speed 2 Cruise Control, the inexplicable return of Dennis Hopper.
I mean, Willem Dafoe's good. You can't knock Willem Dafoe.
No, yeah, I'm not knocking him.
This is the problem. Well, the problem with Willem Dafoe in this movie is that I've seen it pointed out a number of times where he's gotten so much better over time that like 2023 Willem Dafoe is much better than 1997 Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, he would have rocked this movie. Now
he sort of started really coming into his own in like Spider-Man, or maybe Shadow of the Vampire. So this is sort of like you could see him kind of light up towards the end of the film when he starts just being like,
yeah, he gets a little bit jokified in places.
You mean
which is like, yeah, I think Goblin Mode actually. Well, I think what Goblin Mode actually means is you go to your room and just start eating Reese's Puffs. Like a lot of Reese's Puffs. More than that. Like you're eating them out of the box. That's Goblin Mode.
Like the room is filled with Reese's Puffs and you have to eat your way out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking, if just transferring like a 60-year-old Willem Dafoe would like really set this movie on fire a little more, right? Because I mean, that was where Dennis Hopper was already sorted. If you took like Easy Rider era Dennis Hopper and made him the villain, I mean, that would be like whatever, right? But you get old and crazy Dennis Hopper, and you get a relatively classic movie.
You need a particularly good performance because, like with the first one, it's actually easier to sympathize with the villain than the heroes in this film. Like, he's got a pretty legitimate grievance. If he wasn't going to try and blow up everyone for no particular reason, if he was just getting away with the diamonds, I'd be 100% on his side.
Yeah, he kept I guess that makes him more interesting that he was like, wait a minute, no, I can't deal with this boat not being blown up. and I have to take Sandra Bullock, and I have to keep Sandra Bullock. Like, even though he didn't really seem like he wanted Sandra Bullock all that badly, he just like wanted to just keep somebody.
He was high on leeches.
Maybe he was just high on leeches.
Yeah, I think that's explanation for any weird decisions he makes in the movies. He's high on leeches.
Well, also, apparently, just being around computers can give you copper poisoning. So, how fucked are we?
Was like, I was gonna say it's kind of infuriating watching this guy being able to like control the stuff on the ship when I come home and like it's a like 60-40 chance I won't be able to turn my lights on with my phone in 2023.
I still have a Switch. I get mad because sometimes I turn the switch off and then the remote doesn't work anymore. So if I'm on the other side of the room, it's annoying.
It's just you know, we just live in hell.
Mm.
Like, I do want to turn my lights off from being in bed and on. Like,
Right.
okay, maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I should just have a string.
You need room control. You need room control. That's what you
I
need.
have room control. I mean, I have room control. This doesn't
40% of the time.
I can't just like pull my wrist up and go click, click, clickety, clickety, clack, and it closes whatever door I want in front of me.
Mm.
Like that will never happen. That's impossible.
You could put a keyboard on your arm and have it connected to stuff. It's possible. It's just not a good idea.
But it wouldn't always work.
Right.
It wouldn't work when I needed it to, when Jason Patrick is trying to shoot me with a shotgun.
Okay. Yeah, see, Jason Patrick is not bigger now than when this movie came out, right? But I feel like Sandra Bullock may be more famous now. Or I mean, she's certainly
she's just established at this point. She's like a permanent A-lister. I mean,
right.
Willem Dafoe isn't even a permanent A-lister at this point.
He is in our hearts.
I mean, I think he's better, but like size for Sandra Bullock. It's not how much bigger she is. It's that since this film, she's done stuff like Miss Congeniality. That if you were making this sequel now, you would cast her as the action hero.
Yeah, I mean, the last movie I saw her in was Bullet Train, and her role in that was she shows up at the end, and you find out that Brad Pitt was like talking to her the whole time, and you're like, "Whoa, holy shit, it's Sandra Bullock!" Like that's, you know, it's like a huge. It's the biggest cameo in that movie. Second best cameo in the movie. Best cameo in the movie is. Have you guys seen this?
No.
Nope. I'm
I won't
aware
spoil
of
it. There's a much better. It's not a great movie, but there's a better cameo than Sandra Bullock in it, though.
Can't be better than Belly and Zoolander. That's the best cameo ever.
It's not that surprising, but if you see it, you'll be like, I don't know. The only reason that movie exists is to make me convinced that what's his name, Aaron, the guy who played Kick-Ass, could be James Bond. He could be James Bond.
Yeah, this is like his audition, right?
I think so.
I bet his middle name's Taylor. I'm not sure.
I think it is. I think it's like Aaron Taylor Johnson or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah, he was
in the memory.
He could be James Bond.
Yeah, he was pretty good in Godzilla.
Yeah, when he was like making out with the girl who played his sister in
his sister in the other film. Yeah.
You gotta love how she like was banging her brother in that, and then was banging Thanos in the Old Boy remake.
Well, I mean, in the comics, like in the Ultimate one, there is some weird incest stuff with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So
yeah, well, life imitates art.
There's a lot.
Art imitates art.
There's other X-Men villains that have that going on too. The Phaneris, I think, they seem kind of incesty, and they're comic book villains. They don't show up in the movies or anything. They're not good.
Powers fuck your brain up. It's probably just like sitting around and doing a bunch of drugs with your sibling. You start to just lose track of what the hell's going on.
I think maybe North Star.
Mark, do you want to confess to something right now?
Absolutely not. I don't do drugs at all.
You certainly don't bang any siblings when you're on drugs.
No, of course not.
The other problem with this film being Speed 2 is that Speed works because it's going really fast around a city and it's very exciting. Speed 2 takes the slowest, most boring form of vehicle on Earth. And it trundles along slowly on the high seas, surrounded by nothing in particular.
I guess they were just thinking, well, once it hits something, that'll make up for it. Which
the most exciting scene is when it just barely hits the oil tanker, right? Because that was like, oh, this is a big thing that you can't turn it easily. It's not like a bus.
I think that's maybe they started writing this and then eventually were like, wait, we can't really stop this, so it can't be going that fast. Or I sort of expected this to just be the cruise ship has to go really fast
Yeah.
just for a long time, because like technically, but I think that's not even possible, right? Like you wouldn't have enough gas space,
Well,
sea
same with the
gas.
bus. Bus
Oh,
runs out of gas too. It's not
shit.
unless it's a fusion powered bus or something. Then it can
I
go for
can't
quite a
remember.
while.
Did they refill the bus at one point in Speed?
None of us have watched it for 25 years, I think.
That
Yeah,
seems
I've
like
watched
a
it more recently than that, but not for a while.
Okay.
that seems like a thing where you could drive a thing next to the bus and fuel it up.
Yeah,
and
that's
be
it.
really
That's
fun.
what I'm picturing in my head, but I don't know if that actually happened or not.
Right. It seems if it wasn't in the script, it probably should have been. Because I mean, you could find a way to do that if you're making a Hollywood action movie, right? It's not. It looks cool, but it seems doable.
Yeah, I mean they do it with airplanes, so I'm sure they can do it with a freaking bus.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you can. Yeah, I guess the models work with airplanes, where you gotta do it for real with a bus, or it won't.
No,
Look
I'm
right.
talking about they do it for real with airplanes.
Oh, right. Yeah, I thought you were talking about filming it. Okay, because they
Yeah.
don't
So
always film it with the airplanes.
Right, because you couldn't possibly make a model of a bus.
But then you'd have to make a model city, and then it's going to look like London getting hit by a volcano in the time machine, which I
Sounds
love,
great.
but wouldn't work in the movie Speed or Speed 2. I was
I don't
sitting there
know,
like
would it?
last night, like, is you said there's no CGI whatsoever? That's for sure.
There's definitely some like
There,
green screen work when they're like dropping anchors and stuff.
I think the propeller, from what I read, he didn't want CGI and like tried to move away from as much as possible. I don't know if there was no CGI at all, but 97 wasn't like, it wasn't common to use CGI. Like that was
But it was
really a
starting to
post
become
Phantom Menace thing. It was starting to become a thing that was usable, but it wasn't like.
It wasn't like you would use CGI in lieu of doing like practical stuff. It was you would use CGI
Just
for
like,
things that couldn't be done otherwise, right? Like a dinosaur.
yeah. Like I think
97's
Independence
right in the
Day,
gray area, you know?
like there was a weird thing where Independence Day looked like it used it more than it actually did.
Right.
I think.
And then Fifth Element, that's starting to get relatively
Okay,
CGI-ish.
so just a brief aside. I was incorrect. This was not a film that had been used as a different script. It was based on a recurring nightmare of the director about a cruise ship crashing into an island.
Nice.
Have any of you guys ever taken a cruise?
Nope.
No, because I'm not 60 years old.
Well, I've never taken a cruise.
That sounds terrifyingly claustrophobic to me. I'm sure it would be fun on some level, but I get
like,
to like, I don't want to like not be able to leave if it sucks.
It's like a holiday where you could only stay in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's fun for like, you know, a couple of days, right? Just okay, chill by the pool, relax. But I want to go sightseeing. I want to go do stuff.
They have ports to call,
I'm not
right?
sit around
You
doing
stop at the
nothing.
island, and then the locals try and sell you expensive stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It all seems a bit. I can't think of a better word for it than it all seems very white.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't think it's for me. I considered it because I think they went down a lot in price when it caused a bunch of people to get COVID and die the last few years. But even then, it's like, and there are a few cruises that are themed where it's like, 30 metal bands play, and it's like the whatever 40,000 tons of metal
time,
cruise,
and you're stuck on a boat.
I mean, it sounds better than like watching some piece of shit play shuffleboard or something. But like, I still don't like. I don't see the appeal. Like, I don't even go to music festivals that are like multiple day music festivals because I don't like feeling trapped at that. I just don't want to commit to being in one place for that long.
Yeah, and this was a kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm used to seeing like giant Love Boat size cruise ships. This one seems kind of mid-sized, right?
I mean, there's a obvious reason for that is because it's better for destroying everything.
That's true.
Yeah, doing stunts.
Yeah.
Also, cruise ships might have just increased exponentially over the last 20
Love
years.
Boat's the 70s, man. Love Boat was 70s. That was a big boat. Pacific Princess.
So Love Boat was bigger than this?
I'm pretty sure it was, but they didn't destroy the Love Boat at the end of every episode.
I mean,
They
did they not
should have,
destroy it at
but-
the end of the series? They should have.
Yeah, they
Or
had.
maybe they did Love Boat Generations, the movie afterwards, and then like Captain.
Well, there's Love Boat the next
There's the
generation.
Love Boat B,
Yeah, they destroy the Love Boat and they get the Love Boat B.
and then destroy that.
He goes into the Nexus and fights the other Love Boat captain. Anyway, maybe.
There is another Love Boat captain. The pilot had a different captain.
What is it with that pilot having a different captain?
It has a different cast, basically. They basically almost completely recast the show once it went to series.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
They're probably like, hey, you guys want to make a movie? They're like here, if they had asked Sandra Bullock, like, hey, do you want to do this movie? She was like, yeah. And then, okay, we're going to series. You have to do this like every week for the next 10 years. I mean, that's a big ask.
Yeah, maybe not now. I mean, it would have been in 97. Like now, probably, I don't know. Schwarzenegger has a series coming out. Like, soak that in.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has a TV series coming out.
What's he going to do in it?
I don't know. It's called Fubar. I don't know anything about it. I just saw an ad for it.
Okay.
That's wild. Like, you
The
tell
TV's
me,
big these days.
yeah, dude. People want TV now.
Yeah, we're talking 1997 earlier for people, coming to a movie and then getting like, was it what did Scarlett Johansson got herself into quote unquote trouble? I think it's awesome that she was like, I don't even know what movie I'm shooting for half the time anymore.
Oh yeah,
Is it
with
the
the
MCU
Marvel stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like they probably shoot all of it all over the place.
I get that.
Yeah.
They're like, show up here for a week. Here's your lines. You forget what movie it's supposed to be because you're in half of them, right?
Well, the
You're
interesting-
People
contracted to
always
be in
seem
half
to
of them.
forget that actors don't have to give a shit about the things you give a shit about.
Yeah, and they probably don't give them even the entire script. They probably give them barely any of the script because they don't want anybody leaking anything.
Mhm.
Like, that's common practice even before all this connected shit happened. Like, the interesting thing to me is that one executive who just quit said one of the very big Marvel movies was actually just like directed by Marvel and not by the director who was credited to it, which like, that's interesting.
What, like the corporate entity directed the movie? Is what you're
I
saying?
As I
Yes.
understand, that's basically how most of them work, I think.
That's how it feels sometimes.
Like, I've heard the directors complaining that they get there and they're just given what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like, the film's
list of
basically
rules.
storyboarded and made, and it's just like, okay, you're going to do this scene, and this scene.
Well, it's like,
And I guess you can, you can choose the exact details of how this scene plays out, but not much.
Well, I guess say that run in where they did try and have like directors, like voices where they bring in the guy that did the first Iron Man, Joss Whedon.
Jon
They kind of tried to
Favreau
get.
Oh
him
yeah,
to-
but yeah, that was when before the MCU was the MCU, right?
No, I'm saying that's where
Yeah.
I think that's where they were like after Avengers 2, they were like, okay, no, we don't want auteurs anymore.
Well, it's
know?
because they were trying
Well-
to pump out, 6 films a year, and they had to basically act like a TV series.
Yeah,
There
it
was
makes
no
sense.
room anymore for anyone to have authorship.
yeah, I mean, I could tell that Ryan Coogler directed like the Black Panther films, but at the same time, I know that when they first handed him the film, they were like, okay, we've already had the CGI team has already made this climax where Black Panther fights another Black Panther in
Yeah.
the subway. Like, they made that entire sequence before there was a script. So that's
Well,
not
you write-
good.
You write backwards.
Especially
Yeah.
because that was the worst part of that film. That's not,
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
great. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be part of the thing that has me not quite as hip on that one as everyone, that because that scene is just like whatever,
That there,
It's
yeah,
like the
that movie is
PlayStation
Yeah.
2 cutscene.
that movie and the second one to me are like 2/3 of a fantastic movie and then a third of like iffy.
Well, the second one struggled from the same problems P2 struggled from, where, although for very different reasons,
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
it's lacking a leading man.
Yeah. And they had a guy who was actually a very good actor, but he like flew around with fish ankles and it looked terrible with like flying fish ankles.
I thought Namor was great. I don't care. I love flying with fish ankles.
Fair enough. I liked the guy. He was good. He really went for it.
Yeah, he was really good. No, but like, I guess the difference there, Black Panther 2 had the balls to be like, okay, we don't have our leading man, so we're gonna let our leading ladies kick ass.
Yeah, and also
Whereas
let everybody
Speed
mourn
2
the
was
guy.
like, well, we don't have. Yeah, but I mean, Keanu Reeves didn't die; he just fucked off. He
I mean,
saw
they
the
could
writing on the
have.
wall.
They could have made his character die. And
Yeah, and then
like,
Sandra Bullock could have been a dark, avenging heroine. That would have been cool.
I mean, how fucking cool would it have been if Willem Dafoe like goes into like a dark alley and then he hands the jewelry to Keanu Reeves and like Keanu Reeves was like pulling the strings. Like that would have been incredible.
Like he's trolling his ex-girlfriend.
I guess it could just be a coincidence. That's
Like
probably
there was
this
the
is the
bit
kind of movie that
where
would have it's coincidence.
in this film Alex had like the seasickness, and because I'd remembered it as Sandra Bullock is the hero, I was like, oh, that's funny. They brought in this new action guy, but he's going to be seasick the whole time, and she has to do it all, which would have been great. But no, she just gets. She's even more of like a damsel in distress, running and screaming character than she was in the first one. In the first one, she was kind of badass, right? She drove the bus, yeah.
I feel like this was just the time. Maybe it was like post Seinfeld where like extremely neurotic characters were just kind of in vogue. And she was just like, it was hard for me to, there were times where I really liked her and times where I was just like, oh my God, fucking get over yourself.
Yeah, she did feel like she was doing a bit the whole time.
Like yeah, she did good. I don't think that it was her fault. Like as an actor, it was just sort of that she was handed kind of a obnoxious character. And Jason Patrick was handed something, but he just kind of pumped out nothing.
Yep. No, well, that's it. Yeah, she was handed nothing but pumped out Sandra Bullock goodness, so she's still watchable. He was handed, what's meant to be this charming, cool badass, and he's just so stiff.
I can't remember what he looks like.
I can remember his bare chest. I can't remember his face.
Looks like if you took Rob Lowe and kind of sanded a bunch of his features off.
I gotta say, right? Okay, I'm changing topic. I liked it better when your action heroes had like a little bit more body hair and a little bit more body fat. These days, basically, the trick is to avoid the actors having to put on too much muscle. They just starve them and dehydrate them before their shirtless scene. So they're cut, right? You can see the abs and stuff, but it doesn't look healthy or good. Whereas this guy, he looks good. He's got abs and pecs and stuff, but he also looks like he could function and live in the world.
Well, it's like I went over to a friend's house recently and watched a Zatoichi movie, which I haven't seen a whole lot of those, but that was awesome. Like I think Mifune was sort of the same way, where these samurai guys were just sort of like 40-year-old, like kind of pudgy man bodies, but they could kill you, which is like, I don't know. I felt seen a little bit.
Well, look at the Superman, right? George Reeves Superman is like pretty stocky, right? And
it's just realistic.
Christopher Reeve is a relatively like, I mean, he's not scrawny or anything, right? But he's definitely not stocky like George Reeves. And now we get much more dehydrated Superman, I guess.
I think we also have just gone a lot. Maybe we just know a lot more about like physical training than we did 100 years ago or 50 years ago.
Oh yeah. Do you know who to thank for that?
Movies?
Schwarzenegger. He wrote books on the subject.
Okay.
He's actually like a leading voice in making that something taken more seriously. I mean, I'm not saying he did all the work, but he did. He started that ball rolling quite a lot.
I mean, he's got like what you could say the prototype body for, I don't know, like Chris Pratt probably isn't supposed to look like that.
I knew the answer. I just didn't want to rob you of excitedly shouting Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, there was that topic. Okay. He just assumes that he has jurisdiction on a cruise ship as an LAPD officer.
Yeah, and in that on that island as well, when he takes that guy's boat, I was just like, don't let this guy take your boat.
I did like the guy's reaction of like, I came on a cruise and the LAPD is still hassling me.
Yeah.
They can't. That's why, because cruise ships have a very international staff because they don't have to follow labor rules.
Did anybody see the same guy whose boat he takes? He's like, look what I found in international waters, and I couldn't see what it was.
Oh, I assume it's all of the diamonds that were stolen.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
I
cocaine.
heard the line, but I think I was like washing dishes at that point.
I actually rewound it and was like, I could not tell what it was. It cut too fast. So it was like, all right.
No, yeah, I assume the gag is that he found the diamonds that Defoe had stolen.
It's maybe a little early for being like, yeah, cool, we found weed. All right.
And wet, and I guess it could be in a waterproof bag, but
Dry it out.
That's okay.
Try it
I
out.
guess that sounds like too much work. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably full of salt water.
Oh, I wrote the soundtrack must be the worst of the 90s, but it turns out the soundtrack is enough to have a wiki page and was somewhat well, okay, so it came out a month before the movie, so they were like really building up Speed 2 Cruise Control. Listen to the music now. It has a lot of it's got like our good friend Shaggy's on it.
Like my good friend Shaggy's.
Yes, my good friend Shaggy's on it. Sting's good friend Shaggy's on it. I think Maxi Priest is here. So it was weird. It was like critics didn't like the music, but they praised the inclusion of reggae. It was like the weird thing to say.
My main takeaway from this film's music is that it really made me want to go and play bloody can't remember words. I literally had this. No, it's Mario Sunshine.
Oh yeah, Mario Sunshine.
Was it a reggae soundtrack?
No, yeah. It's more like
Kinda.
Like island, like the
islandy tunes. Yeah.
I put in my notes under the sea plays as credit rolls. I know it wasn't under the sea, but it sounded like it. It was like
might as well have been.
But yeah, I just thought it was funny because I was like, yeah, the soundtrack kind of eats it. And it was
cruise music, right?
3 stars from All Music. Philadelphia.
Would this film have been better if it starred Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
And they kept that name.
Any leading man with some charisma would have made this movie better.
I mean, yep.
Like, what would be a weird choice? Like, I don't know, Bobcat Goldthwait. I don't know. Okay, that's not a weird choice. He would have been great. I don't know, Jeff Goldblum.
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
He couldn't have been bothered.
Ross from Friends.
Yeah.
Even.
Oh, speaking of Friends, the super of their building is one of the guys in this film. The reason I looked him up, I was convinced it was Captain Lou Albano.
Oh, the guy with the mustache.
I was like, in this film. And no, it's just he's from Friends, is where I know him from.
Yeah, I thought he was in Married with Children like a lot, and I looked it up and he was in Married with Children like one time. He was just in a bunch of sitcoms a little, which is interesting. But he's got that face.
Married with Children.
I thought he was one of the No Ma'am guys. You remember that? Like for years and years and years, towards the end of the show, it was always Al Bundy going to a No Ma'am.
I've not seen this show. I haven't no idea what you're on about.
You can watch the first 6 years of it, and it'll be like there's a really fun like 6-episode arc where they go to England. It's great. They're just like they're trying to be abducted for some reason because Al Bundy is like royalty or something. I don't even know what it was.
They're trying to be abducted?
No, they basically are tricked.
Okay, that makes slightly more sense.
Somewhere called like Lower Uncton. Is that a real place? Probably isn't. They probably made it up. You keep calling it Lower. Would you like? Oh, London's great, but wouldn't you like to see Lower Uncton?
Sounds like a part of your body. But I guess a city
I'm just
is
like
a body in that way.
I search for Lower Uncton and immediately takes me to Married with Children.
Okay,
So
that is the kind of shit what places in England are called. To be fair,
yeah, for real.
So
it used to be funny.
I was doing some other research here. I was looking for the actual actors they considered instead of Patrick or other people in contention. So maybe it's more interesting to do it this way because these are the people that they were considering.
Okay, well, you list them, and me and Mark will give our judgment on whether they would have made a better film or not.
Okay, first one, I might need to tell you who this is. Simon Baker Denny.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
He was.
But I'm going to say right now, better film.
He was the Mentalist. I'm looking at his face. I'm like, same film. Okay, now we're getting into more interesting territory.
He's Australian. Oh no, I'm looking at him. Yeah, better.
John Bon Jovi.
Better film.
Oh yeah, upgrade.
He's kind of cowboy. Patrick Muldoon.
Better film.
I definitely know his name. What was he in?
I'm thinking of Muldoon from Jurassic Park, but that's the character's name. I don't know who Patrick Muldoon is.
I'm having a look.
His Starship Troopers. He was like the rival from Starship Troopers. Yes, better film.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
the one
yeah.
who goes into the Navy and hits on his girlfriend.
Yeah, and then gets his brain sucked out.
And he was also, I think that's the guy that was yeah, that he getting back to Saved by the Bell. He was the dating a minor creepy college guy on Saved by the Bell.
There was only one.
Well, he was on like 10 episodes. He was like a regular.
Oh,
for a
okay,
while.
great.
He was a regular asshole. That's yeah. So definitely, he dated.
I was joking, but I didn't know he's gonna be like 10 episodes of dating a minor. That's cool. Okay,
that's right. Well,
Thanks,
he had a
Saved by the
Romeo
Bell.
and Juliet clause or something. I don't know.
It was a Canadian show, right? You do it. You can do that in Canada.
Oh, but also the actor's 30, so
You're thinking of Degrassi,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I can't this guy's name, Jonathan, but spelled Johnathon, and then his last name Shaq.
fun fact. That's how I
Jake.
thought my name was spelt until I went to get my first bank account and I showed her my passport and she's like, "You spelled your name wrong on the forms."
The hell I did.
One of my middle names is Jonathan, and I spelled it wrong.
Wow.
Well, you live and learn.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm looking at this guy, married to Christina Applegate for 7 years. Okay, that's interesting.
He was Jonah Hex on Legends of Tomorrow. I think I saw that.
He's in a
maybe?
movie called After Sex. Okay. Anyway,
I just go say Upgrade. Why not?
okay.
Better film.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Okay,
Good for
here we
him.
go. Christian Slater. That'd be
Yeah,
the
for
90s.
sure. Oh my
That-
god, he
that
Oh
could be
might-
the bad guy or the good guy.
Then
Yeah,
it might be
90s
better in the
Christian
first
Slater
one.
killed this film. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
might be better in the first one.
possibly.
And here's a good one up. Billy Zane. Just,
Oh,
of
hell
course.
yeah.
Sure, dude.
Oh,
that makes
especially
sense.
because it would have been right before Titanic. So, like, Goody in this one,
Yeah.
Paddy in that one, the king of boat movies.
Yeah, that movie killed his career because he refused to do press for it for some reason.
Huh.
And
That's like 6 months after this, right?
last one is also a good choice with 90s Matthew McConaughey. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this film was to Titanic what Black Panther Wakanda Forever was to Avatar The Way of Water. Whereas the film that came out 6 months before and then looks shit in comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, that was one of the things that was right there in the front of my mind seeing Wakanda Forever. Is like, oh, there's a bunch of blue people who live in the ocean. Oh boy.
This is going to look embarrassing when
Yeah.
we get to December. Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, and I didn't even think I was going to like Avatar 2 as much as I ended up liking it. So it was like even more pronounced.
I knew I was going to like it. I didn't know it was going to be a borderline religious experience for me.
Yeah, it was just to me it made the first movie better. I
Yeah.
think a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
people felt like that.
Okay, here we go. Keanu passed on Speed 2 in order to star in The Devil's Advocate, which
Which is, I think, a better movie. but
then
mostly
subsequently
'cause-
toured with his band, Dog Star.
Nice.
He actually-
I love Keanu Reeves so
Yeah,
much.
he's a great guy. I think that he actually said that the studio put out the band part as like revenge against him. Like the band thing might not have had anything to do with this. It might have just been Devil's Advocate.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Maybe.
think his career did okay without Speed
Yeah.
2.
He's fine.
I mean, you got what Pacino is it as the devil? That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Before he was too old to do it properly.
Like right before.
That's right.
I mean, I don't remember anything about that film except for about like how crazy the satanic stuff was and how great Al Pacino was.
yeah, there were some nice weird Satan films in the late 90s. What's the Schwarzenegger one?
Sixth Day.
End of-
End of Days.
End of Days.
End of Days.
yeah.
He did a lot of
That
days. That's a good nice satanic one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See?
With like
Dogma.
the hot goth chick from Empire Records and that.
I
There you
don't
go.
think I ever saw that. Okay.
Eh.
I guess should we go into the what passing judgment on this film like a fire and brimstone preacher?
I mean, we've basically been passing judgment since minute one of this podcast. I don't think we've sat on the fence at all.
No. Although I am gonna you were doing the dishes. I had to rewind a few times because I fell asleep. So it does commit the sin of being relatively boring with the
Yeah, because it's set on a fucking cruise ship.
I mean, but like pound for pound, okay, it doesn't have to be 2 hours long, but
no,
it doesn't. But I think it has an hour and a half worth of cool shit in it. I enjoyed watching it. If somebody, I don't know, a year from now was like, "Hey, let's sit down and watch Speed 1 and 2," I'd be like, "Sure."
I
Would
guess
not say no to this again.
in 2023, this is the sort of thing where TikTok shows you the boat crashing into the oil tanker and then into the city, and you're done, right? Isn't that what TikTok does? It just shows you scenes of shit.
I don't think a TikTok can be like that. That scene was like 25 minutes long. I don't think TikTok
max length for a
20
TikTok
seconds.
is 10 minutes.
I'm talking about the actual, like, just a 1 minute of metal against metal, right?
I don't even feel like I only need to watch the boat crash. Like there is enough action, fun action bullshit. Again, it's like my brain is poisoned from years and years and years of CGI bad things that look bad.
So I
And
guess
that's a huge deal.
I'll say a film with problems and absolutely filthy casting. The casting of the movie is filth.
I think it's like it's semi filth.
It's like 90% a fine film, but there's just this charisma vacuum at the center of it that ruins it.
Yeah,
he didn't need to be there, and every scene he's in makes the film worse.
You could really cut him out, and like the deaf girl who wants to be in love with him.
Yep.
Though she was very good, but just take the two of them out together, and it wouldn't really matter at all.
He's there to hit the fourth quadrant.
I will say, there's something really weird about seeing. I've forgotten how to pronounce his name. Give me a second as I look him up again. Temuera Morrison. Just seeing him and knowing that this character is not supposed to be a clone of Jango Fett is really weird.
Oh, but what if he was though?
Yeah,
like just
any time
it just
travel
happened. They
into
didn't
a
go into
different
it.
galaxy.
Yeah, didn't go into it, but his parents found him.
But by the time he travels at light speed to the Milky Way galaxy, it's time for Speed 2, right?
Yep.
Laws of
I
relativity.
thought he was great in this. Did we talk about him at all? I thought he was.
We did. You said right at the start, like it's a better film with just him fighting Willem Dafoe, and you cut out the speed connection entirely.
Yeah, I mean, the speed connection is just the machinery.
This is kind of a square peg in a round hole sort of movie in the end, you know?
Yeah.
And the Scottish, the Scotty they had.
I was when the film started, I was convinced that was the second Professor X.
Oh, James McAvoy.
Yeah, I was convinced it was McAvoy. I mean, it's not, and the timing doesn't quite work out. But
yeah, he's a little.
He's like he's looking down at screens and stuff, so I wasn't sure at first.
Yeah, I don't know. He was great too.
Yeah, he's right.
The only side character I really found annoying was the whatever bellboy.
Yeah, but that's fine. He gets clocked on the head.
Yeah, he does get knocked out.
I thought he was dead after that.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wow, Willem Dafoe doesn't kill. That's impressive.
Like literally the only death. No, he kills the captain, and that's it.
I mean, he technically kills a shitload of people at the end when he blows up that oil tanker, I think.
Oh, yeah. I guess he does blow up a few boats right at the end.
Yeah. He tried.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hopper had a higher kill count than him.
I don't remember. The main thing I remember about Speed 1 is like Dennis Hopper coming out of the top of the bus and hitting his face on a sign.
No, that's when they're on top of the subway.
Oh, subway? Okay.
Yeah, because he's telling Keanu Reeves, like, I'm smarter than you, but then Keanu Reeves lifts him up and his head gets cut off and he goes, yeah, well, I'm taller.
That rules. But yeah, this is Willem Dafoe's another like kind of dumb smart guy where he can reverse engineer all this stuff. But I put it all over my notes. I was like, why are you going back? Just get away. Just go. Just get out of here.
Also, like, he took Annie as like insurance against Alex, but Alex would have probably not bothered pursuing him if he didn't have his girlfriend.
Yeah, that was the only reason he was following him. It was like, this doesn't make any sense. I think someone just didn't really finish writing it.
And
definitely.
It's already 3 years later. I mean, they could have, maybe did another draft or two. Thought about the casting a little harder. I have some 10-star reviews. I guess I could read.
Oh, I found a couple as well.
Oh, I guess you go for it
Yes,
then.
go ahead.
What do you
Okay,
have first?
I really like this one.
If-
This one's cute.
Okay.
Sandra and Jason dazzle. Wow, Sandra Bullock and Jason Patrick dazzle as a SWAT team officer and his lovely girlfriend. The first time I went on a cruise, I asked my mother what would happen if some madman ship, and she said, "Oh, that's not going to happen." I thought that Annie, Sandra Bullock, and Alex, Jason Patrick, looked good in the attire they wore when they were dancing with each other. There was only one character I got scared by, and that was Geiger, Willem Dafoe. Other than that, I love this film. If you like speed, you should see Speed 2, Cruise Control. You're in for a real adventure and treat if you haven't seen it. So go rent it or buy it, kick back with a friend, and watch it.
Okay.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, fine. You read that. That was the one that was actually on my screen. So,
Well, I have one more, but it's real short.
I think
Okay.
I got that one as well, but go on.
A Boat This Time by Bevo13678. Great follow on from The Bus. A boat this time, making for a delicious pun for the title. 1 out of 12 found this helpful.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait. No, here's one. Wow! How do you come up with a sequel that is equal to and better than the original? The answer? Watch Speed 2 Cruise Control.
I think marketing wrote that one. Is that what it says, like Sony marketing? Is it Sony? Fox? I don't remember who made this movie.
Why
Fox.
people hating? I actually thought it was a really good film. Why people hating? It's got action and romance and humor. Don't be put off by bad reviews, okay?
Okay.
See, I found one that says 6 out of 10 at the end, and I'm like, I'm gonna ignore those forever now.
Yeah, I saw one that was 5 out of 10 and it wasn't right. Yeah, so those people are excommunicated from our filthy layer.
Yeah.
Okay,
screw
here's
them.
one. Fun. This movie has a good vibe. The music score is worth 4 stars alone. UB40 performing live? Yes.
I think I might have seen UB40 performing live at Midtown Music or something.
You know what the worst thing about UB40 is?
What's that?
Is when you get older than 40 and you can't use the joke UB40 anymore.
You can say it to kids.
Yeah, we could say it to Luke in like what, 5 years or something.
Okay. Since we weren't throwing this one under the ship, I can't say the bus. That's wrong. I almost wondered if we should have looked for actual bad reviews, but we got to stick to the landing. So,
no, that's the format.
That's the format. That's right.
I mean, if I was writing a review of this film, it would be pretty scathing. Because I think what it ends up doing is basically kind of sexist.
Yeah,
that end is problematic and really cringy.
Yeah, but just like, hey, you remember this competent character from the first film? Well, she needs rescuing again because women can't be heroes.
Okay,
so here's a fucking dweeb.
Here's a prop to this film. Nowhere in my notes did I just write in all caps loud noises. That's what I write when I know I'm checking out, like it's just
right.
But I did not write loud noises anywhere in my notes this time. So I did take a short nap, but it was also 1 a.m. So
I am very amused that this is on the bottom 100 films of all time. I think people were just really disappointed with this as a sequel, I guess.
Well, this is considered, I don't know, it was somewhere in the Wikipedia article that it was considered the worst sequel of all time. And I'm like, this is not even close. And I avoid sequels usually, but things like Darkman 2 or Highlander 2 or RoboCop 3.
If this didn't have Bullock, this would have been in that sort of that genre of straight to DVD, none of the original cast, just the name sequels.
Like,
yeah, but like
this isn't
Highlander had 3 films go theatrical that are worse than this, worse sequels than this.
But they're so ape shit you like to watch them. Where this one is just a bunch of action stuff,
I would actually disagree. Highlander 3 and 4 were not ape shit at all. They were really boring.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen this. I was just assuming 2 is what I was.
2 is fun, meaning. but still a worse sequel than this. Terminator Genesis is a worse sequel than this. Terminators.
It's my favorite film of all time. Terminator 2 is kind of a bad sequel.
I mean, you could make
rewrites how time travel works.
Yeah, and it's also a sequel to a horror movie that's like kind of a family movie, which is like
Yeah.
weird.
It's
you
a
can almost
genre
say the
swap.
same about Aliens.
Like if this had
Yeah.
actually turned out to be a romantic comedy, Speed 2, Cruise Control, it's just a romantic comedy. That would be the Terminator 2 pitch, right? It's like a different kind of movie now.
Like there are a lot of things I like about Alien 3, but you could definitely argue that it's a terrible sequel.
It's a terrible sequel to Aliens. It's a good sequel to Alien.
It's a cruel sequel.
I love the cruelty of it. I think it's amazing, but like, yeah, suck it. Everyone's dead. Everyone's dead, and then you
Everybody is dead, Dave.
But I mean, Alien Resurrection, great movie. I fucking love it, but it is also kind of a bad sequel because it's like, hey, remember how everyone's dead? Now someone's back, and they're banging the aliens. And look at this alien that's all gooey and has human eyes.
Yeah.
But if you've enjoyed this podcast, you can find it on Twitter, probably, or Facebook. Make sure you've liked and subscribed on whatever podcast app you're using. Give it a 5-star rating and review. Tell all your friends. And if you want to help support the podcast, find other podcasts made by me and Matt and Mark, head on over to patreon.com/podcastio, and help us cover the Zoom and the website hosting and all of that jazz.
Zoom. Okay.
I'm going to go cruising for some prostitutes.
I'm going to go with UB40. That's
I'm going to destroy a town with a large ship.
I'm going to put leeches on my nude body.
Okay, I guess you get
Are you
the
going to
last
stop
word
the
on that
recording?
one.
I redeemed